CSOs threaten court action over Tinubu's academic qualifications. And Governor Matawale directs residents to obtain guns for self-defense in Zamfara State. Well, this is Plus Politics. I am Mary Anacol. A civil society organization, CFPA, has threatened to go to court over the eligibility of the candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, Senator Bola Tinubu, to contest the 2023 presidential election. Now, the group, through its legal advisor, equally gave the Inspector General of Police, Alkali Baba Usman, a 48-hour ultimatum to initiate investigation into allegations of the fact that the APC flagbearer supplied false information about his educational qualification. According to the CSO, the APC gubernatorial candidate may be ineligible to contest the impending presidential election for allegedly supplying false information to INEC and for alleged perjury. Well, joining us to discuss this are Akinbuli Ebenezer, he's a legal practitioner, and of course, Ubani, who is the NBA President Section of Public Interest and Development Law. And of course, we'll be also joined by Liborous Oshoma, who is also a legal practitioner. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you. I'm going to start with you, Ubani. This has generated a lot of conversation, in the past few days about eligibility or not and what is admissible in court. Now, let me give some background. There has been an affidavit, a sworn one, by the presidential candidate of the APC saying that his papers or his documents were missing after he came back from self-exile under the military administration. And of course, there had also been a long dragging issue about his, attending some institutions, whether he did or did not. These have been a subject of conversation. But let's look at the legality of all of this and what role it plays in his running for office come 2023. Barrister Ubani, can you hear me?
Barrister
Ubani, that question is for you.
Okay. Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I can go on.
Yes.
The issue of academic qualification for the president is one of the requirements that qualifies somebody who is running for the office of the president. And so the issue is that we heard this news, or we read it, that the candidate of APC in the person of Bola Tinubu did not attend primary school according to the information. I don't know how true that is, and did not attend secondary school, but he has a certificate which he obtained from the university in Chicago, but that certificate is missing presently because his home was invaded by the military during the 1993 saga. That is the information we have, presently. And then there is an affidavit that is there. Now the contention is this: is he qualified to run for the office of the presidency, going by what he has presented? Of course, if you look at the precedent that was established by the Supreme Court in the current president's case, it was an affidavit also that was used. And he said that he missed his papers, and then they were taken away or seized by the military. And the Supreme Court upheld the fact that so far he has said it in the affidavit that these are what he has obtained, that qualifies him to be the president of the country academically. And so I'm sure that Bola Tinubu also may have known that precedent and has also probably followed that particular path in swearing to an affidavit. But what we are not too sure is whether it is true he said that he did not attend primary school, that he did not attend secondary school. I don't know how true that is, but that he is a graduate of a university. You know, you can never be a graduate of university without passing through the secondary school. So, what papers did he use for admission into into university? So, these are issues that need to be think about as to whether he can be regarded as qualified to run for the office of the president academically. The section that gives that position is so elastic that if we look at it critically, I can assure you that based upon the experience, based upon what he said now, his exposure in life, and the offices that help industry, I can assure you that I regard him as qualified to run because there is a particular section that says, or any other qualification that is acceptable by INEC, or any other qualification. After saying that the standard is that at least a school school certificate, that's secondary school. He also gave an elastic meaning that any other certificate, including primary school, if you have first school living certificate and have worked in public service for at least 10 years, and then can write and speak English, you are qualified to run for the office of the president or school cert. Even attempted when you are not even gotten the certificate, you are qualified. Then the last is that any other certificate that is acceptable to INEC. And so with whatever he say he has now, or whatever he has sworn to an affidavit, if it is okay with the INEC, that really will suffice for his academic qualification to run for the office of the presidency.
Interesting. Let me come to you, Benga. Now, there was a House of Assembly probe in 1999, if I'm not mistaken. There was a committee that invited people who had petitioned the then governor of Lagos State on the same issue. I mean, they said that some of the errors within his submission to INEC raised eyebrows. Now, those petitioners were, according to reports, were asked to show up to the assembly to address the issue. Now, when they found the names of these people, went to the addresses, they found out that those addresses were fake. They didn't even turn up at the end of the day to defend these petitions. But then the probe committee had said that the former governor appeared before them on the 23rd of September 1999 alongside his counsel, then counsel Femi Falana. According to that report of the committee, Tinubu took full responsibility for some needless errors, which he said formed the basis of the allegations against him. But now we're here again. It seems for some people a deja vu moment because we seem to have been here before with President Buhari and the imbroglio about his certificate or his qualifications for running for this office. And I'm wondering, why do we always find ourselves in this situation? Or is it just part of the politicking process? Benga, can you hear me? Benga, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay, I was saying that it is a part of the politics. Because whether you like it, there's always going to be a system to pull your opponent down, especially at this time of the political era where people are trying to settle themselves for different positions. And Tinubu has been in the news since 1999, you can recall, when he said education or academics was being questioned with Chicago and what have you. But then it established that, yes, he did attended the University of Chicago, and that's no longer in doubt. But what was still in doubt, or is still in doubt as of today, is that as at that time, the late Ganifa did start a petition against Tinubu as per his academics and educational background, and as per the fact that he did swore to an affidavit from which Tinubu himself later admits that, okay, some of these depositions were not true. But as at that time, the panel did not, it just stopped there and everything ended that way. That is what is being brought up. As of that time in 1999, Tinubu was being called upon to answer to some questions. Halfway, everything how will I put it now? Everything stopped. The probe did not continue. Now, as to the eligibility of Bola Tinubu, as per his and perjury allegations against him, just like my Barrister Ubani said, I think legally that there's nothing or at this front stopping him academically, because what the case is that needs minimum full cert, no, not even primary school certificate. That's all that he needs. That's the minimum. Primary school certificate. That's it. So if a child is able to produce a certificate from Chicago, then it's all good. It's good to go. So to me, the issue of certificate forgery and to contest as presidential candidate for APC should not be in doubt. I'm not a fan of APC. I belong to another political party, the Democratic Party. I'm a candidate representing Ondo West and East in my own local government, trying to go into the House of Representatives. But I wouldn't say because of politics, then I should ignore the law.
Okay.
The law is the law. And as far as I am concerned, as far as the law is concerned, I do not think that Tinubu is not eligible to contest election.
Okay.
And all this clamor of forgery and all of that, to me, like you said, is just the politics.
Okay.
Let's just contest. All of these are distractions here and there to me, which is expected.
All right. Let me go back to Barrister Ubani. Barrister Ubani, there has been protests in front of his campaign office. CSOs are asking the Inspector General of Police to arrest him over certificate forgery. And that's why I started by asking, is there really a ground? And if they were to go to court, what evidence would they need to present to actually call this an outright case of forgery? Do they even have a case here? I'm wondering.
The position is that I'm not hearing you at all. I don't know what's wrong with the volume of your television. The guy, I'm not hearing whatever. You know, there is issue with.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you better. I don't know why they didn't do it better than this, like this way. I'm hearing you now.
Oh, great.
What was the question?
Okay, so I'm asking the CSOs that have been protesting in front of the Tinubu campaign office, who are asking the IGP to arrest him for forgery. I'm asking, if this were to be taken to court, do they have a case? And what would they need to present to make this an outright case of forgery? Do they have a case here?
When you allege forgery, there's a difference between forgery and public false declaration. They are mixing both of them up. What is going on presently, as I said earlier, we read it in the papers, is that he said he did not attend primary school and secondary school. That is what I read. I don't know how true that is. But if you remember that previously Bola Tinubu has contested election before, he has been a senator, has also been a governor for 8 solid years. And we also know that he has mentioned secondary school in Ibadan, where he attended secondary school. He has also mentioned a primary school he attended here in Nigeria. So if he had stated also under oath that these are the schools he attended, primary school and secondary school previously, and he's now saying in a new declaration on 2022 that he never attended primary school and secondary school, they may be now saying that that's forgery. I don't think that's forgery. It's the issue of maybe perjury, if it is true that he said it before and he's now saying he did not attend any of those schools, then there is issue. Now, the point is this. We are going for 2023 general election and many issues will come up. And knowing the president that is coming to take over the rulership of this country, he has to come clean. Did you attend secondary school? Yes, no. Did you attend primary school? Yes, no. Did you go to university? Yes, no. If you did, where are the certificates and all that? I mean, it's as simple as that, because we did it also. We asked those questions with regard to Buhari. Remember, there was this even up to Supreme Court. until finally affidavit was accepted in lieu of certificate. So it's going to be an issue also for Bola Tinubu. But as I said earlier, as for whether he is qualified, the constitution is so elastic that based upon what he has even achieved so far in life and based on what he say he has now, they may likely consider it as sufficient. But people are going to play politics out of his qualification because of not being straight. Because that is also very important. Because if you say I went to primary school, secondary school, and all that, you should be able to tell them which name of those schools and what year. These are simple questions that should be answered. But the moment you are not clear in, you're not showing clarity in addressing those issues, people are going to make a mountain out of it. And it's an unfortunate incident because that's how we play politics here. And he should be able to brace it up. He should be able to probably also be in a position to answer certain basic questions. Did you go to secondary school at all? Did you go to primary school? And if you did, what are the names of those? And what year did you graduate? So these are issues that will keep on cropping up. But as for whether you will be qualified, academically, I can assure you at the end of the entire day, INEC will accept him as having scaled the hurdle of academic qualification. But there's all that issue of not being clear in the presentation of his papers is going to create some level of discussion and brouhaha over time on television and on radio and all over the place, even in newspaper for a long time until after the election.
I just want to push you further. You said something about him answering all of these things under oath. I'm curious, have there been people who have made these kinds of, statements under oath, but then did not necessarily have the facts to back it up? For example, in this kind of case, where, a former governor is running for an office and then he says, well, I went to so-and-so school. And there are people on social media, including a certain Femi Aribisala, who said he went to that primary school that the former governor said he went to, and he was there that year, and he does not remember the former governor being in that school, and he feels that he is lying. But that's one person's opinion. So has there been cases where something like this has happened and the person had perjured himself, even though he was talking under oath?
We have had several cases, and I tell you this. We pursued one up to Supreme Court. I mean, I'm talking about Abia State election that took place in 2015. I was one of the counsels, in that case. I mean, I was with Uchoga, who pursued the issue of tax, because the declaration that was made in the form that was submitted was clearly a lie. He told a lie on himself, and we pursued it. And at the end, the Supreme Court said that it's a non-issue. So I don't know whether all these things now that has been said before, and then now recounting that he did not attend secondary school and primary school. That's what I'm saying. I don't know whether he said that in the present paper he filled. If he filled the present paper and say he never attended any primary and secondary school, it's an issue, because in the previous papers he did mention even secondary school. He has mentioned primary school he attended. So why is he now saying that he did not attend one? So it can be an issue, but as to whether the court will be bold enough to indict him and say he has made the false declaration, I doubt it, because his affidavit is regarded as sufficient evidence based upon precedent. See what happened with President Buhari's case. It was like that. President Buhari's certificate was, did he produce it? Where is it? It's lost. It's not lost. Sometimes papers were flying all over the place. There was another one where he had to certify, and several things that came up. At the end, it was ordinary affidavit that was actually admitted as his qualification to run for the office of the president. So I doubt whether this one will be an exception. So if we make all the entire noise, and at the end, I can assure you that the precedent has been established by the Supreme Court, is not going to go anywhere. And even the issue of prosecution, they are alleging forgery. There's a difference between false declaration and forgery. I don't think that he has brought any paper in which he has forged any document. No, that cannot be. That means they are making a mistake. There is no paper now he has presented where it is said he has forged a paper. The only thing he has said now, I did not attend primary school, I did not attend secondary school. So if he has said it before that he did, and now saying he did not, that can be regarded as false declaration, but not forgery, certainly not forgery.
All right. Let me come to you, Akinbuli Ebenezer. It's very interesting in 2022 that we're still having this conversation. And there have been people who have said that we should maybe upgrade the qualifications for a president, someone who's running the country, as opposed to what we have now in the Constitution. But my question is, have we as a country grown to a position where, or a point where we can now say, well, we don't want first school living certificate holders to run our country, and we now want people who, for example, let's say diploma holders, or maybe an SSC holder, as opposed to what we have. Ebenezer, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, I'm saying, have we grown to a point in the country where we can now decide that we no longer want to have first school living certificate holders run our country as president? Have we grown to the point, or can we even say that we're able to change that part of the Constitution anytime soon for an upgrade?
Yeah, to me, for now, that's the law, and we are just going to review the law until it's needed. So, as it is now, the provision of the law that to contest election, the minimum certificate you need is your primary school living certificate. That is the law as of, and nothing will change that. And really, I wouldn't think that we are prepared to go through that process of amending the ground norm, the constitution, to that effect. All we can do is exercise and maybe good okay, to really contest for the highest office in the country. Then you should be skilled. You don't just bring up someone that will just present minimum school living certificate. We can argue that and debate that, but until it is the law, nothing can be done about that. So I, as a lawyer, that have been studied up to the PhD level, I decide when I want to contest elections to just bring a primary school living certificate, and that's the law. Nobody would hold me for that. So until that is changed, we are going to live with it.
Okay. Vice Ubani, a follow-up question on that particular issue. What would need to happen for us to be able to get to the point, and what would change?
I'm not hearing you again. Actually,
can you hear me now?
To really adjust the addition.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I don't know why I'm hearing you better. After some time, the thing goes deep.
Apologies. Apologies. So my question is, what change will it bring if we were to decide that we want to change that aspect of the Constitution, being that you need a certain level of not just experience, but education to lead a country as vast and diverse as Nigeria? Will we ever get to that point? And what change will it bring to the way that we run our affairs in this country?
I can assure you that it's very embarrassing that in 21st century, we are talking about having a president of the country having only first school living certificate or even primary school certificate. It's embarrassing. It's an embarrassment in 21st century where you run a complex economy that requires basic university education for you to even understand the workings of the economy and know how to run a complex economic country that will be very highly beneficial. And you're talking about somebody having primary school. Now, if we did it at the time, because of the fact that there are certain sections in the country that we want them to participate because of their low level of education and all that, things have changed. We have graduates now all over the states of the Federation. The Northerners have actually caught up. We have so many graduates, both polytechnics and the universities and colleges of education who are many in all these states. And so why would we want to stick to that method of allowing primary school to come and run as a president of Nigeria in the 21st century? That in a country of 200 million, that is embarrassment. It's a huge embarrassment and it's disgraceful. But I think there has been an amendment, in the ongoing constitutional amendment, in which they have even elevated, I think, the other OND level, that for you to run for the office of governor, and that you have to have, I think, OND or HND. I think there was a publication to that effect. They are trying to really remove that disgraceful requirement that it has to be primary school or secondary school at least, and all that. They have elevated it. And I think that it has so many advantages. And you see, we're in a complex country, and in this 21st century. At least a minimum we will expect any of our presidents or governors to have is first degree certificate, at least minimum. Not for you, to say you have primary school or experience and you want to come and run a complex economy like that of Nigeria in the 21st century. It's embarrassment. It's a huge embarrassment. I think that amendment is being affected, and I know when we now do the, is it the fifth alteration or sixth, is going to accommodate this issue of the review of academic qualification for the office of presidency and all the offices generally. That is what I think. And it has many advantages, actually.
Well, we look forward to when those changes are made, but I want to say thank you. Barrister Monday Ubani is the NBA President Section of Public Interest and Development Law. And, of course, Akinbuli Ebenezer is also a legal practitioner. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being part of the conversation. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for staying with us. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, we will discuss obtaining guns for self-defense in Zamfara State. Well, it's going to be an interesting conversation. Stay with us.